Imagine waking up one day to find that everything you believed about yourself was a lie. For a narcissist, this nightmare is called a narcissistic collapse, and it feels like their entire world is crumbling. It's more than just a bad day. It's a profound identity crisis that leaves them utterly lost. A narcissistic collapse occurs when the narcissist's primary source of self-worth malfunctions. This could happen when their significant other stops trying to make them happy, when they lose control over their environment, or when life changes expose their manipulative tactics. Aging can also play a role. As they grow older, their charm, looks, or influence may fade, leaving them without the tools they once used to control others. For a narcissist, validation is like oxygen. When that supply is cut off, their carefully constructed false self begins to shatter. They're left with the horrifying realization that the persona they presented to the world isn't real, and, perhaps worse, isn't worth anything to anyone anymore. This collapse feels like an emotional free fall. Imagine the terror of a small child lost in the woods on a cold winter night. This is as close as you'll ever get to seeing the narcissist's true self. Beneath the mask is a dysfunctional, terrified, and vulnerable inner child. Unlike narcissistic rage, which is explosive and outward, a desperate attempt to regain control, a narcissistic collapse is quiet and much more unsettling. It's marked by withdrawal, depression, and a deep sense of loss. They may retreat into themselves, avoiding the world because without their mask, they don't know how to interact with it. But here's the catch. Narcissists are highly adaptable. While a narcissistic collapse can seem like a breaking point, it's often just a pause. They're adept at finding new ways to validate themselves, perhaps through a new relationship, a fresh source of admiration, or even reinventing their public image. They gather the broken pieces of their false self, meticulously reconstruct their mask, and continue as if nothing happened. To the outside world, it may seem as if they've simply bounced back, but the cracks remain beneath the surface. It's like a shattered vase glued back together. You might not see the fracture immediately, but they are always there, just waiting for the next impact. Narcissistic collapse is often mistaken for genuine vulnerability. When a narcissist withdraws, showing signs of despair, many believe this could be a turning point. However, the reality is much darker. The collapse is a reaction to lost control, not a moment of self-awareness or remorse. Once new validation is found, the cycle of manipulation often resumes, sometimes more intense than before. If you've been close to a narcissist during a collapse, you might feel compassion, maybe even hope that this could lead to real change. You might try to support them, believing they're finally showing their true emotions. But this is part of the danger. The collapse can draw people back into the narcissist's web, offering them a fresh supply of validation during a vulnerable time. The truth is, this vulnerability is often weaponized, used to pull you back into a familiar but toxic cycle. Understanding narcissistic collapse is crucial, not only to recognize the cycle, but also to protect yourself from being caught up in it. If this resonates with you, subscribe for more insights.